Hello and welcome to Shannon Gardens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I wanted to take you guys along with me to kind of go over and look over the yard as far as some cleanup that I've been doing in late winter and early spring to get ready for spring. I can't believe it. It's right around the corner. And so I'm just doing that late winter, early spring cleanup and have been working on that the last couple of weeks. I'll also be trimming up my perennial lantana today. That's also on the agenda to go ahead and get that done. Now I am in zone 7B in the southeast. So these are the items that have been on my schedule for my zone at this time. So let's go head over and I'll show you guys what I've done and how much I've trimmed and what I've trimmed so far. All right, let's go have a look. Okay, so here I have some of my perennial lantana, and as you might be able to see, I planted it here. If you've looked at any videos in the past, I've planted some of this lantana here to help stop erosion on this hill and on this slope, and it has definitely done its job. It has stopped the pine straw here and just helps to hold that dirt in place. So I'm going to trim these back probably about 6 to 12 inches from the ground, and I'll go ahead and get to that now. Okay, so I have finished pruning these perennial lantana and I'm so excited for them to grow back in. I know it's going to be a little while yet before they do, but I'm very excited to see that. And I did want to point out that I just pruned them with these bypass pruners here. So that's all I used and just cut them back and that is it. Now I did want to mention too that I will be laying some more pine straw in the springtime. I'm not doing it yet until I have a lot of the items I want to have planted in the ground, as well as having everything pruned up, and that way I don't have to clean a lot out of my new pine straw. So I'm holding off until a little bit later in spring. Now one item that I did recently prune is this rose of Sharon. It's one of two bushes. I actually did mine probably about a quarter to a third off the top because I did want it a bit shorter than it was last year. So I wanted to cut that back a little bit more than I have in years prior. So that is the Rose of Sharon that will be blooming in the summer. I also recently cut back my butterfly bushes, and if you guys have watched any prior videos, then you would have seen that this was a huge butterfly bush. So it needed quite a bit of pruning, and we went ahead and took that down, I would say 2/3 of its size at least. So now it is ready and ready to start. Actually, it already has started putting out some of its leaves, and that will be blooming in the summer and will fill in quite nicely. I've also been trimming up all of my rose bushes and I'm done with that and eliminated the canes in the middle that were crossing in the middle and opened that up. And then I trimmed up the top as well, although you can see that I have had a lot of growth since then. I also wanted to let you guys know that I did fertilize my roses as well. And I had recently visited my local nursery and asked if they could suggest a deer repellent because last year I had such a problem with the deer eating my roses. And they suggested this milorganite, which is a fertilizer and a deer repellent. Now, I've never used this before, but I did this year, and I'll let you guys know how that works out and if it does indeed help with the deer. If you guys have ever used it, or if you've used a product that you've had success with as far as repelling the deer, please let me know in the comments. I would be interested to hear what you guys have found works for you as well. I also wanted to show you guys just a few things that were already starting to come up in my garden and in my pots. And the first thing is this garden phlox here. And these were actually divided from my garden and just divided over the years, and I put them in pots, and they have come up and done very well in the pots every year. So it's just kind of a good way to divide your plants and save money so you don't have to buy additional plants. And then in the wintertime, as these die back, I will just put some violas or pansies around in these pots just to add a little bit of color while the summer bloomers have died back. Here I have some daylilies that are coming up in a pot as well. And these again are divided from plants that I've had in the yard, and I placed them in the pots. I actually need to divide these this year. It's pretty thick in here, so I will be dividing this to place elsewhere. But it's another money-saving tip as far as when you are dividing lilies, that you can place them all around your yard and in pots if you desire. And then in the wintertime, again, I've just placed some violas and pansies here at the bottom. And I actually put bulbs in this pot as well, which you can see one right there, which is a hyacinth. And I had some paper white narcissus as well that came up and bloomed in December. In this pot, I have whirling butterflies, or Gara, coming up. And these actually were from an original plant, and they dropped their seeds. I recognized the leaves and pulled those little leaves up from the ground and then placed them in the pot. And as you can see, they've established themselves into a nice plant. I've had this plant here for a few years now, and it's done very, very well in the pot, and actually dropped seeds below, and I've been able to establish plants elsewhere just with those seeds. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I can't believe that the time is here to get ready for those spring and summer flowers and start preparing some of those shrubs and plants that I have. I'm so excited, so ready for the start of the season. Thank you so much again. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, happy gardening and goodbye.